Rimmed baking sheets or half-sheet pans are arguably the most frequently used pan in the test kitchen. We have stacks and stacks of them that we use every day for everything. Now, they're obviously perfect for tasks like baking cookies or roasting oven fries and vegetables, or baking chicken and fish. And we use them for toasting nuts and seeds and baking jelly roll cakes. But they're also great for sorting dried beans or spreading out cooked rice or pasta to cool before you're making salads. In a pinch, you flip it over and that baking sheet can double as a pizza peel or baking stone. And that's just the start. Stick a wire grid-style cooling rack inside to lift food up for better air circulation or to catch drips. And this becomes your go-to setup for roasting and broiling meats, holding breaded foods before and after frying, and drizzling chocolate over desserts. And finally, outside the oven, it also works as a tray for holding your mise en place, all your chopped and measured foods, before you start cooking. And to find the best rimmed baking sheet on the market, we bought 8 standard size models priced from $7.43 to $23. And then we baked our way through jelly roll cakes and dozens of sugar cookies. We roasted 30 pounds of chicken thighs and more parsnips than anyone should ever have to look at. And for each recipe, we examined how evenly foods browned across the surface of the pan, as well as how cleanly they released. Now, throughout testing, we kept a close eye on warping and evaluated how comfortable each pan felt when it was loaded with heavy foods. Now, first, I have some good news. It's actually possible to bake, roast, and broil using all the pans we tested. But some pans made it harder to get good results. First, exact size did matter. Now, we chose pans that were standard size, or about 18 by 13 inches from edge to edge. And that meant the actual usable cooking surface on most of these pans was about 16.5 by 11.5 inches. One pan was bigger, with a cooking surface of 18 by 12 inches. So a jelly roll cake that we baked in this pan spread out too much, making it too thin. And even worse, this pan didn't really fit a standard wire cooling rack, so it slid around in the pan and scratched it up. Racks sat nice and snug and secure in most of the other models. Now, the rims of the pan also made a difference. One had really low sloped sides, just 7/8 of an inch tall. And when we walked around the kitchen with this, it was hard to keep liquid from spilling over the edges. And that would be really scary if it was a pan full of hot pan juices. Our favorite pans had straight, smooth sides that were an inch or taller. These were tall enough to hold in liquids, they made nice straight-sided cakes, and that gave us a good sizable edge to grab when we were carrying the pan with a bulky pot holder. We also like to preheat baking sheets in a hot oven so we get better browning on vegetables and meats. But preheating a sheet pan can put stress on the metal, and that leads to warping. And then when you add cooler pieces of food, it makes the metal cool and contract in those spots, so you get twisting. Every pan we tested warped at least a little, but most bounced back once the temperature equalized. Only one pan warped permanently enough to have an effect on cooking. It twisted too much, exceeding what the metal industry calls its elastic limit. In practical terms, that meant that oil ran away from the center of the pan and pooled in the corners, leaving some of our food, like roasted parsnips, dry and leathery. Now, we can recommend almost all of these pans, but our overall favorite was this one. It's the Nordic Ware Baker's half-sheet pan. It baked and roasted everything from cookies to chicken evenly and well. It was one of the most warp-resistant pans in the lineup, sturdy and solidly built. It has nice, tall, straight sides that make it easy and comfortable to handle. And best of all, it's one of the most affordable pans in the lineup at just under $15. To double its usefulness, it works perfectly with our favorite cooling rack, the Libertyware half-size sheet pan cooling rack, which is $15.99 for a set of 2. This is a practical, hard-working combination no kitchen should be without.